Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Bricks King podcast, where I'm going to bend your ear about Lego, review those amazing bricks of plastic, and discuss what is new and up and coming around the Lego world. I'm your minifig host, Matt. Let's build on it. Welcome in, everybody. How are we doing today? Hopefully you're doing quite well. I'm doing quite well. I am doing wonderful. I'm doing a bad Batman impersonation of Christian Bale. Just totally off the wall today, just out of sorts, happy, good day, life-changing things, important things, Anyway, so today we are here to talk about something that is coming your way on May the 8th of 2023. So if you listen to this a year from now and you are somebody that is new to the podcast, you're going to be like, well, May 8th? Oh my God, that's in a month. I can't wait. No. It's 2023. You're in 2024. It's okay. I get it. It's fine. Anyway, so we are talking about Tales of the Space Age. It is a Lego idea set. This was something when it originally was announced, I was kind of like, okay. It felt very Lego art. It fell under that art category, which we've not received a whole lot of new art stuff recently, and I'm starting to wonder if it's not selling well and it's going to start falling to the wayside. I honestly would not be surprised in the next 12 months if they say, hey, Lego art is defunct and we are done. We are moving on to something else and we quit. Honestly, I could not, I hope that isn't the case, but I would not be shocked if I heard that happen. So this set, let's talk about it. There are 4 different panels, obviously, with this thing, but you want to know the details straight up front, right? So this beautiful baby is set number 21340. It has 688 pieces. It retails for $50, 50 euros, and 45 British pounds, which seems to be the main thing. Like, I don't get a whole lot of things that say Canadian dollars, Australian dollars, New Zealand dollars, or whatever they use in, I think it's dollars. Anyway, so that is what we are rolling with. This thing is really cool. It has 4 panels. And when I say really cool, it's a unique build. It's a unique set. It is going to be for a unique person. It's going to be somebody that enjoys the space theme, somebody that enjoys something different, or maybe somebody that's an ideas collector, which I know there's a few of you out there that have responded to me in the last year, 2 years, whatever. This may be more so up your alley. So the idea behind this is you are having 4 different panels that capture 4 different images from space, an idea of space. Now, unfortunately, there's really not a whole lot of detail on the inside of the instructions. So there are 4 instruction booklets. There are 8 bags, and those are literally just to tell you, hey, these are the things that you are building, and you get an idea of what they are, and it's very unique, and we'll go through them bit by bit here, but they are all built very similarly. And the fan designer behind this, because those of you that are new here, that is what the Lego Ideas theme is for. Jan Woznicka, I think that's how you say it. Maybe I'm probably butchering the Z in there. It's probably like an S or something, or like a hard C. Who knows? Anyway, that is your fan designer. And just the idea behind this is really kind of neat. It is definitely untouched ground. It is very undisturbed ground. You are walking on something that has not been done before, is done now, but something that Lego really hasn't walked on before, because this is kind of something that almost fits into the art theme. It doesn't fit into architecture. It doesn't really fit into anything else, but it definitely fits somewhere. And to me, it honestly fits closer to the art theme than it does anything else. Obviously, it's a Lego idea set, so it's under that platform. So we're going to talk about the very first one, and it's the first instruction packet. And this is bags 1 and 2, then it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the idea behind this, with the 5th instruction booklet, it kind of talks about different things, and I'm going to let that to you. However, It is this little section of it is entitled Cool Cosmic Travelers. We're talking about things that are flying through the sky. Now, honestly, this is probably, it may not be my favorite, but the cool texture, the cool colors that are used in here with the azures colors and the blue color that's going on in here, along with the black background, which is, you're going to find out if you purchase this, you are going to find out that the color pattern is identical in the way that it is built. Now, the colors are different, but the pattern is identical. You do a certain spot here, certain color here, certain color, and it just fits the whole way because there's a reason to it, and we'll touch on it here shortly. Now, the cool thing about this is it is a very tall build. It's actually probably about 6 inches tall. It's actually quite tall, honestly. And the nice thing about this one specifically is you have some satellites that are down here on the bottom. The build usually goes, for the most part, at least here on the bottom, it goes like plates, brick, plate, plate, brick, plate, plate, brick, plate, plate. And then you have just a bunch of bricks and a few plates scattered in the black. But in this one, you start out with a light azure color. You start with some white, then some light azure color bricks, and then a medium. I think this is like a medium. This might be a dark azure color, or azure. I don't really know how to say that. I don't know. I'm just being non-specific. Anyway, and then you have a blue, and then the azure plate, and then a dark blue, or the blue with the brick, and then the black, and then some azure, a darker azure again, and then you move into the black realm. The really cool thing about the way that these builds are done is they're done in a 3D fashion. So on the very bottom of this, you do have some tiles that go across the front here, which is really nice. You get some of the 1x6 tiles in the color of the main palette of this. And what ends up happening is it almost becomes like a diorama type-esque build on the very front. You know, we've talked about it with the Star Wars stuff. We've talked about it with the Jurassic Park stuff. We talked about it with the Indiana Jones, the bigger set. That is kind of what you're getting here. Anyway, so in the black portion of this, the dark part of the sky, because honestly, if you look at the color packaging here, the blues, this is supposed to be synonymous with, as you leave the atmosphere, that kind of glow that happens when you enter into the upper troposphere. And you kind of get into the middle part of space, not the middle part of space, because I don't even know where the middle part of space is. I don't even know if there is such a thing. However, you move up into this black realm then after that. You have this comet that is flying through the air. It is supposed to be Halley's Comet. And then you have these little shards that are coming off of it, and they are represented by white wands, like the Harry Potter wands, you know, I got magic. I just swung my arm around like I'm swinging like a sword, like, on God, let's fight right now to the death. I know, I'm totally broken inside. Mother. Anyway, so you have this Halley's Comet. They use some of that flame-ish orange yellow color here on the front of this, but it is built up, and the wands, they are off of the main base of this, the black, the blues and stuff like that. Those are one flat surface. You have clips that are holding in the wands. You have another build that uses some bricks with some studs on the side to be able to move the comet around. Now you can move the comet around. You can move the fragments around with the wands. One of the things, so you also have this tail of the comet, and it goes from rigid plastic to a rubbery, softer plastic in the back. And the only bugaboo that I have about this is, depending how you look at this in a certain light, the rubber piece is not perfect. It definitely shows some imperfections in the way that it was cast. And you can actually feel it if you really kind of go through it with a really tight, focused touch. You can feel those imperfections to a certain degree. Now, that's nitpicking. I love the way this looks, honestly, and it can tilt, right? It is on a round plate that is attached, and it does tilt. It's really nice. Now, on the very bottom, at the very bottom of the color scale here of everything, you do have some black satellite dishes that are pointed upward. saying, hey, we're watching this comet come through and making sure, hey, at least comet doesn't impact the Earth. But anyway, that is the first panel. The next one we're going to talk about is intergalactic road trips. And this one is, it feels very Star Wars-esque with the color scale. I can't think of the specific movie. I suppose it's like Geonosis. I'm thinking of like the Star Wars PlayStation game from PS2 that I used to play, that I still have that I like to play from time to time because it's a version of Battle Royale, but it's not really Battle Royale. Anyway, so you have this surface of this Martian planet. It's really neatly done. So you do have the flamish orange yellow color. You do have some orange in here, and it's the same kind of pattern. And then you have a darker nougat than the black, and then the dark black up top, the sky that it's supposed to be. Now down here on the bottom, you do have a little bit of tilage, not a whole lot in the front. It's just a 1x4, and then you have some studs that are open on the front, which I'm not a big fan of, but it's trying to get some kind of like texture going on here. So unfortunately you can't like tile it because then it's going to look silly with this little rover. You do have a roller skate that is supposed to be a rover here. It's in light bluish gray with a white 1x1 tile that is on top. You also have what is supposed to be, I guess this is supposed to be some kind of pod or something like that you are using to maybe escape, or not escape, but take off from, or maybe it's a probe. Anyway, but they use the brown color here to make up some rocky formations down below, and it looks really, really good against what I would really call it like a sunset kind of idea that is going on here with the flamish orange yellow and then the orange, and it just feels like a sunset kind of thing, or maybe even an early morning sunrise might even be good as well. But it really looks sharp against that. The contrast is gorgeous. And then up above, we have these massive discs that have the 4 studs in the center here, and they are plastered against the black background. You have a 2x2 round disc here as well with a stud open in the center, and that is in the light bluish gray, same as the disc that is underneath is in the light bluish gray, and then the disc on top is in black. However, the small disc is supposed to be what I believe is like a moon. It's supposed to be, kind of cascaded or whatever. It's pretty in the way that it is done in its own right, and I really like the way that this one is done. I think it's really cute. It's not cute. It's space, man. It's space. And then they use a 2x2 round tile on top of that to be able to get these eclipse ideas going on. And man, it's super sharp in the way that they did it. I'm just a really big fan of what they chose to do here. So same thing with the bigger discs. This is supposed to be an eclipse. And, it's supposed to look fun. It's supposed to look exciting. The whole space idea, it's really well done. And I'm super impressed with the way this model turned out, honestly. So you do have some holes on each side, as I didn't mention on the other one. But we'll talk about Technic pinnage and all that kind of stuff here a little bit later. So then we move on to the third panel here. And this kind of rivals with the first one. I like the color palette of the first one. The second one is okay. This one, the scenery is really cool. Anyway, this one in the 5th booklet, the booklet that gives all the details, this is entitled Out of This World. And the idea behind this is you have some kind of spacecraft that is launching off of, it could be a planet. It could honestly be whatever you want. Now, it is talking about a space system, and I'm not going to give you all the specifics because I want you to enjoy it when you go through that instruction booklet. Well, it's not instruction, but the details of it. You're essentially going through different constellations and such. Anyway, so one of the interesting things, we're going to talk about it, but one of the interesting things is there is a whole bunch of different ways that you can arrange the stars to make up different constellations, which is incredible. This one happens to have the Big Dipper in, the original formation, the original instructions, but they give you extra pieces, they give you extra bricks and stuff like that. And you can move the tiles around. You can move all that kind of stuff around to be able to get different constellations, which is really nice. Or else you can do something completely different of your own if you so choose. So on this one, our color palette that we start with at the very bottom is white. Now this one has a lot more texture than the last two that we talked about. The first one, we only had satellites. The last one had a few mountains. This one has much deeper, 3D-esque build to it. So you have this kind of what almost looks like a flat wave that is coming in and cresting a little bit like along the beach shore with the white that is in the front with some slopes that they use here. And then just behind, and not completely behind, but like a half plate, whatever behind that, you start with this is like a top of an umbrella. It just has a nub up atop here in the center, a stud that is closed here in the center, and then on the back side it just has the single as well. So that is the start of this thing, and what it is supposed to be is the rocket ship that is taking off. Whatever this thing is that is taking off, it is supposed to be like the dust cloud that it leaves behind. And they use a few different type spheres here, a few different tiles. And obviously the canopy piece that I just talked about for the top of like an umbrella, but they use 2x2 rounds that are concave, convex. I think it's convex, that are bubbled outward. They're usually used on the bottom side of vehicles or different builds and stuff to keep from scraping and stuff like that. So you do have that. And then you have this long, super long slope piece that is supposed to be like the jet trail coming from the rocket. The rocket uses a robotic type arm here in orange, and then a cone here in light bluish gray that is supposed to be like your vehicle that you're taking off from. Now, they have these 1x1 black tiles that have what is supposed to look like a star. Like not a 5-point star, like a glistening type 4-point type star, right? That is what you have here. Now you do get extra. You get at least one extra tile, of course, because, extra pieces and such, but you do have 7 others that are on this build. You have the extra, so you actually have 8. So you could do a whole bunch of different things here. So the color palette behind all of this, you have some like a peach color that is going on just above the white. And then you have a white plate and then the peach again. And then you have, it's not quite magenta. I don't think it's quite pink either. This is definitely not the pink color, but it's like a pinkish hue between the magenta, and then magenta, pink, magenta, black, magenta, and full black the whole way to the top where everything is tiled off at the top. So you do have that. It really looks nice. I like the way that the build goes for the rocket ship and stuff. It's a really cool thing. Plus you get to move things around, which is incredible. Customization is always key, especially when you have an opportunity to do it on something like this and change it to what maybe you want to do something completely different than the norm. Here is your opportunity to do so. So the last one here that comes with this is Into the Unknown, and it is supposed to represent the first images of a black hole. Black holes, look, I realize I'm going to die before a black hole sucks in Earth and everything around it. But it kind of it messes with your head. You're kind of like, the fact that a black hole can suck in Earth and the entire the solar system that we're in, the galaxy that we're in, is kind of scary to a certain degree. Anyway, so with this puppy, what you have is a kind of a toned down scheme. Like the other ones, the last two that we talked about kind of get you a little hyped up. Even the first one kind of gives you more of like a glowing feeling. This one seems to bring you back down to earth. And the reason I say that is because of the green scale that is used and this teal color that is used. So on the very base of this thing, what we have here is we have some black, a bunch of black slopes and stuff like that. I guess it's supposed to be maybe things in space or things that are being seen from this vicinity, from a telescope, not a telescope, but the satellites that are up there roaming around. So you do have that. You do get some texture. It is 2 studs deep, which is nice. All of these are 2 studs deep, by the way. 2 plates, bricks, studs, whatever. They're all deep. 2 deep. Anyway. Anyway, so we start with some lime green on the bottom. We have a white stripe through it, some lime green, then some green, lime green again, green brick, teal line, green line, teal brick, black line, teal line, and then full black. So obviously those are made up of plates and bricks and such. Now, we've talked about, studs on the side and stuff, studs on the side, bricks and stuff like that are, they're kind of like, you're looking at them, you're like, oh, look at these, they're staring at me. They're so ugly on this black background, but they have a purpose. So they use this very spring green color here, and it almost looks like it should be glow in the dark. Like if you've ever done things that are glow in the dark, they're like that clearish white type color, very light white color. And when you put them under light, obviously they glow in the dark. And the springish green color reminds me of the glow in the dark. Like something, one of my dogs, my German Shepherd, is obsessed with one kind of ball. It's a rubber type ball, but it glows in the dark. We bought him a package of like 10 of these, not just those, but other ones. Those are the only ones he wants. He has 4 of them, and they're strategically placed. He's like, you know what? I'm going to get this one when I go here. Anyway, enough about Leo. This idea is really neat. So you have a protruding slope that is going here with a single claw type piece here with a modified plate. It's a 1x1 plate that has the little claw that is sticking out, same color. And then you have some tiling that has that same color on the outside. You have some interior tiling that is in black. And then you have some that is in that lime green, just below where that protrusion is. So you get 2 different layers of this black hole. You get the initial where there's some tilage, and then you get the secondary where there's slopage that comes across this initial circle of tiling. Really nice in the way that it is done. I kind of like it. It is definitely not my favorite. It is cool. It is definitely not my favorite, however. So some things that I didn't mention about these builds because I wanted to save it until the end. On the back side of every single segment of these builds, you have one of those these Technic Lego hanger pieces that are pinned in by 2 pins, but you can hang it on a nail, on a screw head, or whatever. You do have that option. So if you want to hang it, that works as well. Everything is held together on the back side of this by Technic beams that go down the sides, and they are pinned in by multiple pins. And you connect everything. So there's studs on the side for everything. So you can rearrange these however you want. You can put them in the order that they were built, or you can move them around however you so desire. There are open holes on each side in these Technic bricks, and you get a set of different Technic pins. You get the blue pin that can go 2 studs deep, or 2 bricks deep, and then 1 on the other side, or you get the standard Technic pin here that goes 1 on one side, 1 on the other. It is completely up to you how you so choose to put these together. But the nice thing is you can either hang them individually, you can put them, displayed individually, or you can put them, pairs together, or you can put the entire thing together. It is literally up to you. Honestly, my favorite thing to do, what I've been looking at about potentially hanging these is, and it's almost kind of like 3D wall art. It's not like the 3D where you have to, divert your eyes, you have to blur your eyes, but you do 1 panel, 2 panels together, and another panel. I think that would be really neat. Doing 4 in like a square where they're separated seems a little bit odd to me. I don't think that'll quite work very well when you hang it. Anyway, so I really like the idea of the modularity behind it and how you can hook all this kind of stuff together. I just plop 2 together. You get different scenes, you get an idea. The nice thing is when they're all connected, you don't need 4 screws or nails to plop into a wall. You can sit this on a desk, you can sit this on a shelf, but if you were to hang it on a wall, because everything is Technic pinned together, you only need 2 nails, 2 screws. That's all you need. You don't need anything more than that. And that is phenomenal in my opinion. I think that is a really great part of this where you have that opportunity to be able to just, kind of put it the way you want and such, and just go from there. Now, as far as the set goes, I think it's worth $50. I really do, considering what you are getting as far as part count goes. My only concern is the value there for this. I think this reaches a niche audience. I don't think it's standard across the board. Definitely not standard across the board. But I definitely think there are some people there that are going to be like, oh yeah, I have to have this on day one. And there's going to be other people that are like, you know what, I'm going to pass. And then there are going to be the people like, maybe, in 10 months. Ideas projects usually tend to stay around 12 to 18 months. Some of them 24 months. However, they don't last forever, just like any other Lego set. They're not unlimited production where they're going to be around forever. So my honest opinion behind this, I like some of the panels. I don't like some of the panels. It's just my own color preference and the way that it is done. If this were something that I was going to buy, would I want to spend $50? If I were into space, absolutely yes. If I were not a space fanatic, the answer is no. Now, one of the only big gripes that I have about this is if you were sitting this somewhere, let's say you're sitting it on a desk or you're sitting it on a shelf and it's not flush against something, you get this bleed through of light because the bricks and the plates and stuff like that, they are not, they're butted up against each other, but they are not 100%, connected to black out everything. If I were you and I were somebody that wants to buy this, what I would do is either take some kind of black background, whether it be paint or some kind of fabric or something like that, and put it behind it so you don't see that light, especially if you are in a room where there's a lot of natural light or you have a lot of downward light from above or you have a lamp or something like that. That may be something that kind of bugs you. And it definitely is something that bugs me. Again, that is nitpicking. There's nothing you can do about that with Lego brick. There's other thing that you could honestly go and say, you know what, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take black matting behind it. If that even is a concern to you, I'm just saying that is something that I had noticed. Different light conditions, day, night, lamp, no lamp, overhead light, natural light. And it just, it's something that I noticed and I wanted to share it with you. So that is going to wrap this thing up. These are available May 8th, Lego stores or lego.com, wherever you want to get it. They're going to be available on May 8th. I'm assuming they were not launched May 1st just due to the sheer fact that, all the Star Wars stuff was a hot mess and they didn't want to compete with that, or they just didn't want to have people try and fight to get these with all of that. So May 8th is when they're available. Again, $50 here in the United States, 50 euros and 45 British pounds, wherever that equates to you in anywhere else in the world. I apologize. I don't have those prices. So that's going to do it for me. We have some really other cool things that are coming. They are very Bruno'd because, we don't talk about Bruno. No. But they are coming. And I'm willing to bet some of these are going to blow your ever-loving minds. And I can't wait to share them with you. So until we meet again, I'm your minifig host, Matt. Let's build on it.